Peace and love. Welcome back. I ask that if you enjoy the content that you please like and share. Like it and share it. I want to hop right into this thing today and kill the intro. Today we're going to talk about the one lion behind every myth. And today this is pretty much a continuation in my attempts to teach the people through syncretism that the Lion of Judah is the Demiurge. All right, the Lion of Judah is the Demiurge. I'm gonna keep repeating that, man. Not only repeating that, but showing that. So I did do a live stream previously, and it was called The Lion of Judah is the Demiurge, Christ and Yahweh are one. Go a cigarette. That's what the devil do. Here's a little snippet from that one. You can go pull that one up on the channel. So this video goes deep into like the sacred geometry, the syncretism, visually showing you that Christ is the Demiurge. I mean, this one collage alone will show you that. But when we talk about the Lion of Judah, why come Christ take the form of a lion and Satan? Yeah, Satan takes the form of a lion called Leontocephaline. Here he is right here. This is another form of Satan, the serpent. And in this form of Satan, the serpent, Satan takes the form of a lion, and the serpent symbolism is actually wrapped around him versus him being the serpent. All right? So that was a serpent wrapped around a tree in the middle of a garden that spoke with Adam and Eve. Who was Adam and Eve speaking with? They were speaking with the Demiurge, represented by the Lion of Judah. So Christ have two titles that the devil share. The lion archetype, and he also shared the title of the morning sun with the devil. Christ also shares the serpent symbolism with the devil, being the fact that the earliest form of Christ was the Nehushtan, uplifted by Moses. All right, so there's a reason why Christ carry a scepter in his hand, like what we see the Demiurge carry. You just got to understand that the Lion of Judah, or what we call Christ, is another archetype to represent the God of time and duality, which is why Christ said, I will be with you throughout all the ages. This was the same kind of language that Chronos spoke with. The God of time, Father Time, the master of time, he's not bound to time. He's a time traveler. What he does, he get others caught up into certain points of time and limit their ability to time travel, or, harness deja vu or their spiritual gift, right? And it ain't that he's necessarily trying to limit you, no different than the soil or the dirt is trying to limit a seed from growing into a tree. Nothing is holding the seed down. You say, what a dirt holding it down, what a dirt actually making it rise up to transform to a tree. This is the God of duality. He gives and he takes away. He takes away the old self and gives you a new version of the self. And he does it simultaneously. This is the Lord of transformation. Many fear this deity, but this deity is a certain energy within yourself called Kundalini energy. And this deity is just a personification of something within you that can't be dormant forever. It will activate. Just like a seed in the ground. Eventually it's going to sprout. So just a matter of what? Time. And this is the God of time, which is why he's the one that removes the veil. Just like when Morpheus took Neo out the Matrix when it was the right time to do that. So I got to open up in this intro letting us know that the Lion of Judah is the Demiurge, and now we can go ahead and go into solving the riddle of the Sphinx and let you know exactly why this relates to the Sphinx. So let's hop right into the riddle of the Sphinx, right? And then we're going to show you how the Sphinx is just an early archetype of what you would call Jesus Christ. The Sphinx is the Lion of Judah. And also, people, they didn't shoot the nose off of the Sphinx because they wanted to hide the racial identity of it. There was no word called black when the nose was shot off the Sphinx. Don't listen to people saying that same regurgitated crap. Question all of the stuff you've been hearing all your life, man. It's people here to reinforce this nonsense. This is the boule. This is the boule. These are the fraternities in black Greek societies. They're here to make you find glory in Egypt versus glory within. Only thing in Egypt is where Freemasonry started, money started, capitalism, and that's why them devils glorify Egypt. That's where the truth was hidden and buried at. So, Egypt means ego, and all of the men you see that glorify Egypt have big ass egos, and they've sold their soul to the Lord of this world. All right. So again, they didn't shoot the nose off of the Sphinx to hide the fact, because y'all say, well, they shot the nose off the Sphinx because they didn't want you to know it's a black man. Well, they fail. Because everyone on the planet saying that the Sphinx is a black man. But here's the thing. If you were to go back in Egypt and talk to Narmer, he would tell you he's not a black man and he don't know what the hell you talking about with this word called black, stupid. The Egyptians didn't have a dumbed down, they was the beginning of when the powers that be started to dumb down the masses. Right? They didn't automatically have it black and white or left versus right. They didn't get the divide and conquer part down packed at the beginning. That was an evolutionary process of seeing the best ways to divide and conquer. Government got better and better at dividing us over time and created more systems for us to subscribe to and boxes to pick for us to be divided. The point that I'm making here is that there was no black people and white people when the nose was being shot off the Sphinx. There were mighty empires that had all colors of shades of skin in them. Hell, I would even argue that there were more black Roman soldiers than white ones. Don't let these Hollywood whitewash movies fool y'all. When you say, well, the Greeks conquered our ancestors, don't act like the Greeks was just a bunch of white folks. You give the white man too much credit. These armies had gotten powerful because they had conquered a lot of the tribes, and the tribes had already sold out and became on board with the Demiurge. The tribes had already sold out and instituted themselves into a government system. That system just started to spread, but you got this false image of just a bunch of white men. No, they could never do it without the black buffer class, the one you call the boule. In other words, every race got to sell out their people. They got to sell their people into slavery. There have to be an elite group, a 10% elite in your race that is powerful, that's running shit in your race. That's the only people that the white man need to sit at the table. And they call the shots for black people. They use all their money as the richest, powerful black people to control the rest of us. And they use that as leverage at the table when cutting a deal with the devil. They let the corporations, the prisons, and the white man know whatever you want these niggas to do, we can make it happen for you. We know the way they think. We're one of them. You think the white man know your black mind that good that he's able to control you like that? Because you hear stuff like, well, you know they know us more than we know ourselves. That's because they got some niggas working for them and always have had them. That's right. They always had slaves on a plantation working with master. So master knew the direct mentality of the slaves in and out because he had niggas on the inside. That's your buffer class. Never forget them. These are the people that even have black people participating in politics in the first place. They steer you astray, then when shit hit the fan, they hop to the next distraction. What happened to the Black MAGA movement? But anyway, let me get back on track. We ain't here to diss the Boule and the Egyptian frat boys. We here to really solve the riddle of the Sphinx. But the nonsense you hear, that they shot the nose off the Sphinx because they didn't want you to know that it was a black man when no black man existed during that time. The word black man is a lack of better words for a group of niggas not knowing who they are. If these group of people knew who they was, they wouldn't be proud of being black. They would have a flag attached to a landmass that they were proud of. So quit saying that the Sphinx is a black man, because if Normer, that's who the Sphinx is made in the image of Normer. If he was around now, he would be insulted for you calling him a black man, just like a Nigerian would be, or a Libyan would be. He would say, listen, I'm an Egyptian king. What the hell are you talking about, this black man? What are you talking about?
Stupid.
You know. So that stuff ignorant Negroes do, and it's a form of pride, but it's ignorant pride. I'm black and I'm proud. You're saying you don't know who the hell you are and you proud of it. You don't have a flag to a land and you proud of it. Why you think they pushed that song so hard? Say it loud. Why you think the white man pushed that song so hard? So miss me with the black pride and the Egyptian glory thing, because if a black man was living in Egypt, you would be treated like a peasant. You wouldn't be no damn king. Yeah, Egypt was all about a dollar. It wasn't about no I'm with my people on no skin color shit. It was about the rich versus the poor. In fact, this is where the whole rich versus poor stuff started at. Y'all trying to make it black and white when it was about world conquest and growing your army and conquering tribes and recruiting them to get your army big. So you didn't care what color the person was, long as they bowed down and respected the power and either get down and lay down. This is what was going on in the world. Quit making people paint fairy tale stories to y'all. So black people being attached to Egyptian culture is stupid. Either move to Egypt or shut up talking to me. You're cultural appropriating. You're not no damn Egyptian. You're an American. You're an American. And if you go back in the past, the people that would have built them pyramids wouldn't have been nothing what we call the black man in America today. The black man in America built his own damn pyramids, but he don't know who the hell he are. So he claiming the damn sand niggas shit. You know you ignorant, because if you knew who you were, you would know that the stuff you built make the shit in Egypt look like kindergarten. The black man in America built his own structures in this land. And don't nobody talk about them because everybody looking over there in Egypt, but ain't nobody moved over there. Yeah, listen, bro, why don't we claim the land we at? This is where our sovereignty at. This ours. Good luck going to Egypt telling them that Sphinx is you. Because we got Olmec statues over here that look like us niggas. And you can't be every damn where. Here go Gucci man right here. How you putting them in Egypt? That's all I'm saying. So where we want to be at? Because I'm going to tell you right now, where my feet is at, I built great empires here that make Egypt look like kindergarten. Like Egypt ain't nothing, man. Y'all too Egypt happy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we got to go through this before I get into the Sphinx and give you the riddle. The truth is that Christianity, basically Gnosticism died in Egypt, and what happened after Egypt was the world became believers. What the pharaohs in Egypt did when they took over everything, they changed the old system of interpreting the ancient symbolism on earth, meaning that everyone on earth never looked at these symbols as literal things. We looked at them as archetypes, teaching tools. You call them gods today, but they call them guides. A guide would have been something like a teaching tool. It's like a little symbol or something that I can refer to make a point. It's a guide to show you what I'm talking about and how it relates to you. So all of the ancient systems was teaching the truth about the Kundalini through guides or gods, through symbols, archetypes, like the one I'm showing you now, which is a form of Jesus Christ. So we about to get to how the Sphinx is the Lion of Judah in a minute, but I got to give you this. What the pharaohs in Egypt did was very, very evil, because we reach a certain point on the earth where the pharaohs and the world powers around the world started to make the people interpret the symbols literally. That's how they created what's called a peasant class. The peasants were the group of people who didn't have knowledge. If knowledge is power, the question is, how did you lose your knowledge, your power, when you lost your knowledge? You lost your power when you lost your knowledge. And when did you lose your knowledge? When people start making you interpret your ancestor symbols literally. All of the knowledge was hidden behind these symbols when they did that. And that was their way of hiding the truth right in front of your face. The concept of the Egyptians wearing a cobra on their head comes right here from Leontocephaline. This is the Demiurge's concept. Look at the snake on his head. This would have been your patriarchal form of Sekhmet. Let me give a shout out to Fila B. The cobra snake is not a true native of Africa. They are the Naga builders. So like I was saying, thank you for the love. So the riddle of the Sphinx, right? The thing about the Sphinx is this. The Sphinx speak in a riddle language. Why is that important? The Lion of Judah spoke in parable. Why does Jesus speak in parable? And why does the Sphinx speak in a riddle language? Because the riddle language or the parabolic language is what you have to use when you're teaching with an archetype. So if I was holding this little god in my hand, trying to teach a child about how their Kundalini energy is going to rise up the spine, but I was personifying that energy, let's say I'm turning that energy to a dude named Jack, and Jack is climbing a beanstalk. And when Jack get up to the sky, that's my way of telling the child, when you die, your soul will ascend to a higher plane, but it will leave your body via climbing up the spinal column, which is the central nervous system. So when we see the pharaoh, right, wrapped up in the Jedi tower, let me see if I can pull it up. I don't want to go to my slides. I'm going to just hit it and be quick right here, because this is going to be very deep for y'all. This is a form of the Demiurge or Saturn covered in the rings. But the Demiurge is covered up in a snake. But this is still the Demiurge, guys. It's still the same deity. I'm working my way. I'm getting to the, I've already given you a big jewel about the Sphinx, guys. Okay. The Sphinx speaks in a parabolic language, what we call a riddle language. Riddle would be me teaching y'all a lesson in symbol. Like if I say, imagine a guy climbing a pole, reaching a realm in the sky, right? That's a story, Jack and the Beanstalk. But we know not to believe the story to extract the message from the story, which is your kundalini will rise up the spinal cord and ascend to a higher plane. Okay, so what happened in Egypt for them to dumb down the masses, they started making people interpret these stories and symbols literally. And that dumbed the world down overnight. It was like somebody hit a button and just made everybody stupid after that, man. So you can also sync Leontocephaline to Janus, the god that holds the key in his hand. And you can see him with his key. That's the key to the underworld. What they said Jesus had the key of life and death when he wrestled with serpent. So you can see this lion fight. He's fighting the serpent, or he's wrapped up in the serpent, and ultimately he comes out the victor with the key, the keys to life and death. So you will notice, you will see this a lot, that Jesus holds the keys to life and death. Your modern day Jesus is just another archetype for the Demiurge or the Baphomet or the earth god that dwells with man and told man, I'm going to be with you throughout all the ages. Even in the end of the Bible, Jesus built a earth kingdom, not a heavenly one. People, I wouldn't lead you astray. Go read the book of Revelation. Everybody waiting on Jesus to show up. And when Jesus show up, no one goes to heaven. He built a kingdom right here on the earth. No one goes to heaven, but they don't know it because they don't read the Bible. Prove me wrong. The Bible didn't tell you nobody going to heaven. It told you was going to lay there in the grave till Christ come and he going to establish an earthly kingdom. But these pastors don't read, y'all. But they rich as hell knowing nothing. Watch this, y'all. If people die and go to heaven, why they gonna raise the dead from the ground when Jesus come, right? But that's another story. Let's keep it moving, right? Jesus, I'm showing you how he is the demiurge, and then once I get that in you, I'm gonna show you how Jesus, the Lion of Judah, another form of this sacred line was the Sphinx, right? So the Sphinx spoke in a riddle language and Jesus speak in parable. This is the same archetype. The reason this lion spoke in a parable or a riddle language is because it is a symbol that is represent a higher message, a deeper meaning. It's, again, I keep bringing up Jack and the Beanstalk, right? It's a story. So anyone telling the story of Jack and the Beanstalk to teach you how the soul will ascend to heaven, they will be speaking in what's called a parabolic language or a dual language, which means I'm saying one thing, but I don't mean that. I mean something else. That's called a coded language or a parabolic language. What makes it parabolic? Because you're saying one thing, but meaning another. You're not, what we say, mean what you say what you mean. That ain't what the ancestors was doing through these symbols. They were saying one thing, but meaning something totally different. And in this type of sort of parabolic approach, it was very easy to open up a person's mind to these deep ass concepts, because when it comes to the soul, the universe, and all of that, it can be complicated to people. So the ancestors used these symbols and archetypes to really simplify it. And when you do that, now you got to have a parabolic approach to interpreting the symbol and making it connect with the soul. Very simple stuff. So now let's talk about the riddle of the Sphinx. I want to read some to y'all real quick. Give me a second. So the riddle of the Sphinx comes from the Greek myth of Oedipus. I know I'm not pronouncing that right, so we're going to go ahead and see if Google will pronounce this for me.
Oedipus.
Oedipus, thank you. So the riddle of the Sphinx comes from the Greek myth of Oedipus and is one of the most famous riddles in ancient mythology. Now here's the breakdown. In Thebes, a monstrous creature called the Sphinx, which have the head of a woman and the body of a lion and the wings of a bird, terrorized the city. In other cultures, they would call this the Phoenix. So what I want to do real quick to y'all, because you know when I come with this etymology, bro, I gotta be thorough. I don't have the camera on today, so I'll be using my whiteboard from Canva right here. So one thing I want to point out about the Sphinx and how it relates to another archetype called the Phoenix. All right. When you let me tell y'all the mystery, the mythology of the Sphinx. The Sphinx have the head of a woman, which is the Phoenix bird is a woman. All right. The head of a woman, the body of a lion, the wings of a bird. That's the Phoenix. But the Phoenix don't have the lion body, just the woman head and the bird wing. But the Sphinx is a patriarchal form of the Phoenix. The Phoenix is older than the Sphinx. But when the patriarchs took over and created the matrix and dumbed everything down, they took a lot of the attributes from the goddess, which is why you hear men talk about being born again. Now, I'm going to give you something to think about right here. When you say the word Sphinx and you take the S off of it, guess what you get? Phoenix. You get Phoenix from Sphinx. So here is the word Phoenix hidden right there in the word Sphinx, guys. I'll just show you. So I separate them so you can see. If you take the S off of Sphinx, right? You get Sphinx or Phoenix, right? But this PHINX, right, is another way of doing this. Or even putting an O in it, right? That's why the Phoenix basketball team are called the Suns, because they represented the sun, the SONSUN, the third eye, the light that's seated in the temple of God, which is the mind in the skull. We know that, right? That's the sun they talking about, not the yellow thing in the sky right now, silly. Come on now. But you can sync your inner sun to the outer sun, because the sun outside is teaching us exactly exactly the path of ascension to our own inner sun as it rises up in the winter, and it becomes at its highest point and vanishes during the new moon during that time and come back as born again. So that's the astrotheological part of Christ being the sun. But never forget, this represent the inner sun first, which archetype for that was the Sphinx or the Phoenix. We're finna show you why. I just want to get y'all this linguistic etymology so that you can see when you say Sphinx, you're saying Phoenix, and you need to understand how they both connect. So I'm gonna move on now from that, but let's talk about it, the myth of the Sphinx, because a lot of people think the Sphinx is a masculine archetype. Is actually a feminine archetype. The Sphinx was always a female. People don't research. So a lot of people that glorify the Sphinx in Egypt are the modern patriarchs, the modern Pharisees and Sadducees, your boule, your frat boys, right? Your upperclassmen who took the oath. But in the myth, it said that the Sphinx would not let travelers pass unless they answered her riddle correctly. If they failed, she devoured them. All right. So we talk about Saturn eating up the souls of man. And of course, we know that this archetype, Saturn or Satan, is another archetype you can throw in this lineup as well. And Oedipus on his way to Thebes confronted the Sphinx though. And the Sphinx asked, what walks on four legs in the morning 2 legs at noon, and 3 legs in the evening. Oedipus answered, man. In the morning of life or infancy, humans crawl on all fours. At noon or adulthood, they walk upright on 2 legs. In the evening of life or old age, they use a cane, making 3 legs. When Oedipus solved it, the Sphinx destroyed herself. In some versions, she jumped off of a cliff. So what is the Sphinx? What is this mystery deity that if you solve the mystery, it'll go away, but if you don't, it's your enemy? This is the Demiurge. If you figure out the matrix, the simulation, the game you in, like Neo did, then guess what? This deity will offer you the red pill. But until then, you will have the blue pill. In other words, if a person is born in this world and they die in ignorance, this deity is going to keep making them come back until they figure it out. In other words, it's going to devour them. It's going to swallow them up again and again, which is the Saturn reincarnation matrix, because you ain't learning the lesson. In other words, this is a game. And the game is for you to figure out who, what, and why you are. And ain't nobody going to tell it to you. The people in power doing their job, they got to lie to you. Because the universe want to know how much you love yourself. Only a person who loves theyself a lot, a hell of a lot, will go through the troubles and problems trying to figure out all this when it ain't gonna make them no money. In fact, it may make you broke. It may get you blackballed trying to figure all these secrets out when you can just get up and hustle and get you some a capitalistic gig and get your money up while you trying to learn and figure this universe out. See, just like Nostradamus and all of the prophets in the old days, there was never no incentive to unlock the secrets of the universe, because people who did that get punished. And no one likes those kind of smart asses who think they know everything about creation and all that. The church made it that way. You just ain't gonna, just like Jesus came to this earth trying to be smart, trying to teach people about life and death and what happens when you die. Look what happened to Jesus. Nostradamus didn't die rich. All of you smart ass spiritual people that's so thirsty for this knowledge about who you are and where you are, man, this world ain't gonna reward you for that. It might punish. In fact, it's gonna punish you for it. You're letting the universe know, I don't care. I want to know who I am and what I am by any means necessary. It can cost me every goddamn thing. I want to know the riddle of the Sphinx. See, when y'all die, the Demiurge ain't going to be able to devour y'all. He's going to have to spit you out like he did Jonah. And that he's the whale. See, he's the world around you. And once you solve the mystery of this place, it fades away like a fucking blanket or covering just was lifted up from over your eyes. You can see clearly now the Demiurge is gone. You can see clearly now your ego has been removed, because that's all the Demiurge is, your own ego thinking that this world told you all the answers. When the Bible told you that the knowledge of this world is fool's knowledge, some of that nature. The Bible never speak good about the wise men in this world and the knowledge that y'all regurgitate passing around with everybody and say, this is science. Go read what the Bible said about science. Trust me, the Bible is relentless on man's knowledge in this world, man. But Christians will tell you that ain't science. Did you hear what your Bible said about science, bro?
Stupid.
And about the wise men of the world, they don't read the Bible. They listen to Pastor Pochop. Now watch this, right? Don't you know that the riddle of the Sphinx ain't just about man's physical stages? It encodes the cycle of life, time, and mortality, which ties back to the lion archetypes we've been discussing. Leontocephaline was the master of time and cycles. The Demiurge, let's show a picture of each one of these lions, because here is the Demiurge here. And you can see the Demiurge is in between the sun and moon because he's the god of time, the ruler of the material, binding man to life and death. Christ, the Lion of Judah, transcends the cycle of life and death and also offers eternal life to man. Don't you see the connection? Okay. Christ transcended the cycles of time, so much so he told you he would visit you throughout the ages. And because Christ defeated Chronos, or the serpent Saturn, time, Christ now was immortal, meaning no longer bound to time, no longer aging, and also able to offer others eternal life, which is another attribute of Leontocephaline, the Demiurge, and also the Sphinx. The Sphinx is also to be see, the Sphinx existed before Egypt. And you want to understand the meaning of the Sphinx, you got to go back to its roots, which predate Egypt. People don't know that. Just because the Sphinx archetype became popular in Egypt don't mean it started there. Okay? So the Sphinx was said to be a gatekeeper, and it demanded wisdom before it let you cross over, meaning that the Sphinx only gonna let the smart spirits go to the higher realm, and the people that's dumb as hell, they gonna get ate up by this thing or recycled till they learn. Now you can see a symbol below the Demiurge right here, and this is the symbol of Saturn right here. So you gotta ask yourself, why is the symbol of Saturn on a picture of the Demiurge? Because they're one and the same. So let's pull up the symbol of Saturn, and you can see that the symbol of Saturn here is ingrained in this image here with the Demiurge, because this is Saturn, people. You know. So, I mean, what I do over here, I do very advanced decodings. Not no phony stuff, fake stuff. I am the real deal. Okay, what I practice is something called syncretism. If you've been following me for a while, you already know what it is. But if you haven't, then I'll go ahead and briefly explain it. It is the amalgamation, sorry, I always mess that up, or attempted amalgamation of different religions, cultures, or schools of thought. So I consider myself to be in the world's top 5 best syncretists on earth. It's a very small culture, so that ain't much of a feat, by the way. But I am one of the top. And yeah, I combine all cultures into one truth, which is what we were here to do. You were never supposed to see them as different truths or different things. They're all one truth that they're pointing you to. So let me go ahead and say that. Also, what we got to realize about the Sphinx, the Demiurge, Leontocephaline, the Lion of Judah, all of them are healers. All of them are healers. One of these symbols that evolved from the Demiurge being a serpent or 2 serpents or a tangled up serpent is the medical staff, the medical caduceus. So this God can heal you, or it can kill you. Just like I told you, it can give you life or death, which is what the red pill and blue pill mean. Okay? So why am I bringing up the healing aspect of this lion? Because this lion is a healer. Don't that sound familiar? Jesus is the Lion of Judah, and Jesus is a healer. But there's also the oldest form of the Demiurge. One of my subs brought this to my attention. I forgot about these. My grandma have these in front of her house. And if y'all think hard enough back to your childhood, it was very common to see these in people's yards. So I don't know, maybe you had them in your yards, maybe someone in your family did, maybe you know someone in your neighborhood when you were a child that had these. But drop me a 1 real quick, everyone. Drop a 1 in the chat room if you grew up like kind of in my era, because you don't see these a lot today unless you go to like very, very rich people's places, and they are also worth more money. Because people we losing the meaning of what they meant. So if you kind of my age, these are called Medici Lions. And the word Medici sounds like medicine, medical, healing. So the question is, Jesus is called the Lion of Judah, right? And Jesus is a healer, right? Now you're making the connections. Now you're rocking with me, right? Check. So there's a reason they are called Medici Lions. These predate Jesus. So your whole concept of some Lion of Judah that's there to heal the nations is very old, right? And Christ is just one of many archetypes that represented this same concept that I'm sharing with you here. You can see that these lions will often have their feet on a ball, or they will have their feet planted on some type of structure where they would plant their feet on. And one thing I want to show you about the Demiurge is that's exactly what we see with the Demiurge. Here he go right here. It's very simple. The parallels, right? You see this lion standing on top of the ball, right? You see this lion standing on top of the ball, and then you go back here and you see the lion with his foot on top of the ball. So this Demiurge deity is very old, and it definitely connects with Christ, who you call the Lion of Judah, the healer, this healing lion, right? So let me give a shout out to Josh Waring. He says, Bro Sanchez cooking with the syncretism. Sub up to the brother and smash the like button. You will accelerate your spiritual growth. Thank you, man. Yeah, appreciate that, bro. My brother Josh, appreciate that. See here. So this is a very deep connection I'm making right now. When it comes to syncretism, this is why Sanchez is so good at what he do. Now, you have noticed that my numbers have been going down. And I want everyone to know that that is a sign of you being blackballed, or what they call shadow banned, right? Because the quality of my content hasn't went down. It have only improved, the thumbnails, the research, and everything. So, but what I will say about the Medici Lions is there's a reason they are called Medici, because it deals with medicine and healing. And I want you to not forget that, because that's how you tie this into the healer, Christ the healer, the Lion of Judah. All right. So, and then we see that he's standing on, the Demiurge is standing on top of a ball. And you see that this lion is on top of a ball. And people may say, but Sanchez, Christ ain't never on top of a ball. Well, they don't call it a ball. They call it Mount Calvary, is what the Lion of Judah stood up on. All right. So, yes, Jesus is a lion that was on top of the ball as well. Sanchez, Mount Calvary is a mountain. It ain't a ball. Mount Calvary is a ball, and you just don't know. Show me where Calvary is on the earth. You can't, because Calvary, Mount Calvary, is in the middle of the earth. It's called the North Pole. I'll show it to you. Here it is right here. It's the black cube. It's the black hole. When your soul resurrects, it leaves the earth at the North Pole. That's why they said Christ is the rock. What did they say? Christ is the rock. Look at the image. The rock is in the middle of the earth, but the rock symbolizes a black hole. And this is what the gateway out of here, they turned that to the Reaper wearing all black. Mount Calvary is in the middle of the earth. They call it Rupes Nigra. This is where resurrection take place. And if you want more proof, check this out. Jesus is called Yeshua. The Egyptian form of Yeshua or Jesus is Shu, the earth god Shu. Excuse me, the North Pole god Shu, who's, yes, he is an earth god because he's not dwelling in the heavens. He dwell within the simulation like Gab. But before the concept of Yeshua, in between the two thieves on top of the holy mountain, you had the god Shu on the left in between the two thieves. And where is the god Shu? He's in the middle of the universe. Christ was at the North Pole when he was on Calvary, people. If you ask any theologian to show you where Calvary is on earth, they will act lost because they will be. We don't know where Calvary is. Well, shit, everybody ought to know. That's where God died for all of our sins at. Come on, man. That's right. You mean to tell me didn't nobody mark that place? No Christians thought to say, come on now, people be having accidents in Vegas and they put vigils on the side of the road and they never move them. It's been a vigil on the side of my road ever since I moved to this house to remember the boy that died on the corner right here. So come on now, Christ was God and ain't no one marked the spot where this man died for everyone's sins at? You gotta be playing. That's because this didn't take place on earth, y'all. Ain't no place called Calvary nowhere on earth, y'all. This was in the middle of the earth at the North Pole. At the North Pole is where physical creation breaks down and it turns into a spiritual realm. Everything breaks down at the North Pole, like you're leaving our layer of reality going into a higher dimension. And if you ain't vibrating right, you can't even go into that area. Like if you are a demon or an evil person, you ain't got the light of Christ in you, you can't even go near the North Pole. It's like a vampire going near the sun. Don't you know that the Polaris is the brightest star in the universe? And Polaris is the gateway for sentient beings to leave the earth. If you're a non-sentient being, you don't want to be nowhere near Polaris. That's like a snail being near salt. Like I said, that's like a vampire being near sunlight. So these vampires, they are bound to this realm of darkness, which is the earth realm, this little incubator, this little hollow space that you see up under Nut. They can't travel to the innermost regions of this universe because their frequency ain't right. That same energy that would be helpful to me, it'll be harmful to them, right? So Sanchez loved the sunlight, but a vampire don't, you see, because we are not the same. Now, we need to talk about this because a lot of the Boule members and your black elite that's selling y'all this chematism, they sold to the Demiurge, the Baphomet, these Greek lettered guys, and you cannot follow them, even though they're popular. They have charisma. They have the looks. They got the money, the success, and you don't know what they paid for it, people. And you got to look at the message that these people are selling you, and you will see it is very Sethian. It is very in accordance with the Baphomet agenda. So when the lion stood up on top of a ball, that lion was standing up on top of ground zero, or what they call Mount Meru, Rupert's Niagara, and piercing the veil, which is what Jesus did when he resurrected. So why was the lion holding on to a scepter? The same reason that Jack was holding on to a beanstalk. I hope I'm not losing you. Let me say it again. Why did the lion hold a scepter? The same reason Jack held the beanstalk. It represents ascension. In some pictures like this one, it is like a little scroll, which is a diploma. It represents deployment. Diploma, deployment, diploma, deployment. You leaving school is all a ritual. When you leave high school, you have to walk up onto a stage, don't you? Right, you have to die at Mount Calvary. Who died at Mount Calvary? The student called Bro Sanchez. The moment I get that scroll and I ascend up on that mountain and I get my scroll in my hand, I'm now out of the school. I'm out of the earth realm. This is going to happen on a spiritual level too. You see, when you leave high school, they say, okay, you now about to enter the real world. Guess what? When you die, you enter the real world. This is a matrix. This is a simulation. So when we die, we go to the North Pole. We grab hold to the damn rod. You see this light rod? When you go to the North Pole, there's a stream of light that is flowing upward. It's flowing upward toward heaven. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to ride that stream of light to the next plane. Your soul is going to walk into the middle of this light beam and you're going to get beamed up. I'm going to show you what this looked like in Christianity real quick. Since I got this folder open, I might as well watch this. Show you something real quick. So the story of Jonah and the whale. Well, here's another. What I'm trying to show you what's going to happen. It's going to be like this. It's going to be like this. Look. You notice that the spaceship, the UFO ship, what does it shape like? Look at it now. Look at all of the magnetic ley lines on the earth. And look at the dome that's being split by the North Pole. You don't see the UFO ship? Our earth is a big ass UFO ship. You thought that you was on earth right now, but you're not on earth right now. You're on a Death Star, a big Death Star ship like Darth Vader. It's not the true earth. It is a floating earth. It's a ship that resembles earth that's just floating in the darkness. When you finally get to the North Pole and beam yourself up out of this place, you're going to look back and realize this was never earth that you was at. Just like the end of that movie called The Signal. We already left the earth, y'all. We've been left earth. What you are in right now is a earth-like simulation. We're trying to get back home to earth. That's what we're calling heaven. Earth is heart. Rearrange the word earth and you get heart. Jesus said the kingdom is within. It's in the heart. In your heart is the earth, the real earth that we left from, not this place you at right now. So where you at right now is like a little, you have been abducted. You're on board like a big ass ship. It's like, and there's a captain and a pilot to this thing. That's what they call in the Demiurge. It's a culmination of all of the world elite sharing one mind. And some people call it Satan. It's one and many, which is why so many are confused in the Bible when you talk about El and the Elohim. So many people are confused when you go into El and the Elohim, because God is one and many. So let us make man in our image. This is a hive mind that is talking to each other, meaning it's a multitude of beings that share one singular consciousness that y'all call El. All right? But this is a multitude of demons. Make no mistake. The best way to think about it is if you look at the movie called The Matrix, when you get, what's his name? Agent Smith, how he got all this multitude of other agents, but all of them share the same mind as Agent Smith, right? That's called a hive mind. That's what Satan is. It's not a red dragon. It's an ancient tech cult. The Egyptians cheated death. The Babylonians, they cheated death with brain-computer interfaces. This is why you see them with all these symbols on their forehead and these carvings. They were playing around with mind uploading technology. So people was calling it witchcraft. And today we read a lot of folklores about witches and magic tricks and men raising up the dead. This was ancient people playing with advanced technology, folks. You make no doubt about it. That's right. And I'm telling you, that's more better than believing in fairy tales and witch stories. Now, people, check this out, right? I'm trying to show you why the Lion of Judah is holding a scepter and why Christ represents resurrection. Why the Statue of Liberty represents liberation of the soul. And it's holding what? A flaming torch. How come the torch represents liberation? How come the rod that the Lion of Judah is carrying is a scepter of truth? We even got a month called September. Did you know that the month of September is literally named after the rod of truth that the Lion of Judah is carrying? Because this scepter allows this lion to pierce through the veil. It allows this lion to pierce through the veil and go beyond our layer of reality. And it's basically another way of symbolizing the spinal cord, the spinal column. Once the Kundalini rise up the spine and seat itself on top in its rightful seat, like what we see here. And notice this is a god called Janus or Anu, right? But if you put the J in front of it, like some people do, it's this god Janus with the keys to the other side. The Holy Grail cup is on his head. See, Jesus wore the Grail cup for immortality, but Jesus is late. There were so many archetypes before Christ that wore the Grail cup for immortality. And it goes back to the brain computer face technology that I was telling you about, or what you call the mark of the beast, the chip in your forehead. Our ancestors already took the mark of the beast, man. So a lot of them got trapped inside of this simulation that we call Earth with the beast. The beast is artificial intelligence. Now watch this, right? You still have your soul. You haven't yet taken a mark, but your soul is born inside the simulation because some of our ancestors got stuck in these things. So therefore, you can get free when you die. When you die, you will see the other side, which is the true reality. Now, the people that take the chip in our time, they will join an ancient cult that's been on this earth for so long, giving people the chip every reset. Every reset, these vampires come out of brumation and they bring back this technology to the earth of brain-computer interfaces. Elon is not human, y'all. All right? The technology they're bringing to the earth is what the Bible's called the abomination. It got souls trapped inside of simulations because it allowed them to transport consciousness in and out of bodies and body swap and do all. It gave man too much power when man didn't have his ego in check yet. I ain't got a problem with man learning all this advanced technology. But if your ego ain't right, it's going to turn into hell, which is what happened. Because if you give an evil person this kind of knowledge, they can torture souls, man, inside of simulations. So this knowledge can't be given to any and everybody, which is why our ancestors had the first secret society. And it wasn't about hiding the knowledge of who you are. It was about hiding the knowledge of certain technology because you couldn't handle it. If we give you the knowledge on how to make bombs or guns or you may destroy folks, you know. So our ancestors did have secret societies, but they never held knowledge from people that would help them become better. And the better you become, the more mature you come, the more secrets they tell you. But it's just the opposite in this world. The more wicked and evil you become, the more secrets they tell you. So you're gonna always have secret societies, But what was the intent, the purpose? The original secret societies was there to make sure that man don't access any knowledge that would give him lethal, like the power to take multiple lives with the push of a button. You couldn't access the knowledge of this kind of stuff till you matured to a certain level spiritually. And even then, you would never make that kind of technology just because you got the knowledge on electromagnetism, explosions. It was to learn about how the universe is made and all that. But you can take this knowledge and use it for anything. So simply having this knowledge don't make you a good person. It make you an enlightened person. But you can choose the path of good or evil once you become enlightened. And that's one of my favorite movies called Star Wars. It shows you what I'm talking about. Darth Vader has the same knowledge that Luke Skywalker got. They both know the knowledge, but one chooses light, one chooses darkness. And that's what separates me from the Demiurge. We got to overcome the power of this world, which is a part of us too, is in our ego. It's the part of us that want to control others and rule over others. That has to die in us before we can leave the earth. It'll never die in the Demiurge. It'll never die in the people on this earth that sold their soul. It'll never die in them. That's why they condemn. But you have the ability to kill your ego or wrestle your demon, as they say, or slay your dragon, as they say. And that's what this archetype represents. Christ defeating the devil. You rising above the will of your body because you ain't your body, you the soul in it. And you doing what your soul want to do, not what your body want to do. The Bible call it living in the spirit, not living in the flesh. So let's go back to our notes. Real quick. So one thing we got to keep in mind about these Medici Lions that I asked y'all about, and you can see how the Lion of Judah is on top of that. He's lifted up. He's lifted up, right? Like the Demiurge. When they say he must be lifted up, he's on top of the sacred mountain, the North Pole. All right, now, remember that these lions, people would put these in their yard to scare evil away. I'm going to say that again. I asked y'all a question earlier. I said, how many of y'all are familiar with these little Medici lions? You see them in people's yard. People put these in front of their yards. Another name for these are griffins. And they're there to ward off evil. Now, what is Jesus there for? You see the connection? Jesus is the Lion of Judah. And people say if you put a cross on, it'll keep the evil away. You see what I'm saying? If you put that cross on your house or put the cross in your bedroom or around your neck, we are taught this helps keeps evil away. Now, there was some lions before Jesus, before the Lion of Judah, that people said were guardians from evil that would help keep evil away. And before people was putting crosses and Christian stuff all in their house, they was putting these lions in their driveway, in their yard, to keep the evil away. There's a long history of how this stuff come to Christ, right? Christ is so late. He's such a late archetype. There was so many archetypes before this Christ that embodied the same parables, lessons, and spiritual coded message, right? Let's read some more. So when it comes to the Medici Lions, the Sphinx, the Lion of Judah, the Demiurge, and Leontocephaline, they all embody sovereignty, guardianship, and the protective kingly role of the lion archetype. They all are guardians of thresholds and mysteries. which is what the Demiurge is, keeping you on a certain level of thinking and consciousness. People say, well, the objective is to gain Christ consciousness. And they are so right with that. That's what all of these archetypes is teaching us. Because that consciousness, what you call Christ consciousness, is the knowledge that the Sphinx is going to ask you when you get to the crossroads. It's going to be the riddle of the Sphinx. And the Sphinx going to basically ask all of these souls a quiz like about this simulation. And the souls that entertain the idea that this world is real, this deity just gonna let them keep coming back to it. They're choosing what's real to them. They're choosing their own reality out of ignorance. This is a default choice for those who don't know. It's like, why didn't Morpheus wake everybody up in the Matrix? Because Morpheus says some people ain't ready to be woke up yet. Some people, if you wake them up too early, you will actually destroy them. It'll be like opening up a caterpillar cocoon too early. Now you didn't let it finish its transformation to become a butterfly. So that's why Christ can't save everybody. When you start studying this archetype in the ancient world, this thing was never a savior. It was a teacher that was teaching man to save himself. That's right. The book of Revelation tells you that. Let everybody save. See, the whole thing about a savior come from the papacy. The original form of this archetype wasn't to save no damn body. It was just there to teach you something. And if you learned what this thing taught you, you didn't even need a savior. If you learned what the knowledge that's embedded inside of this archetype, you won't need a savior. You definitely, you your own savior once you get this knowledge. Trust me. You're going to be a bad member jumbo when you get this down, this knowledge down packed. You ain't going to need no savior once you get this, trust me. And we never needed saviors. We just needed knowledge because knowledge is power. If I got the power to save myself, then I don't got to sit around waiting on the Messiah. Can we all agree on that? Think about it. If I know how to do surgery, do I got to wait on the medics to come save my loved one that's bleeding out in my house? Knowledge is power. And when you got knowledge, guess what you don't got to do? Wait on no damn body to come help and save you. That's the beauty of having knowledge. Because if somebody choking and you don't know how to give the knowledge of how to give the Heimlich maneuver, then guess what? That person got to wait while they choking for somebody with the knowledge to come save their life and be their savior. So the whole world waiting on a savior, the savior ain't gonna never come because this archetype that you calling your savior was never a savior in antiquity. And you ain't gonna make it one now. That's why it ain't saved your ass yet. That's right. But it is there to teach you. Christ there to teach you. This archetype is there to teach you to unlock the savior within yourself. And when you do that, you don't gotta wait for salvation. Salvation should never be something you wait for. If I'm in a situation where I need to be saved, bro, the worst thing about that situation would be me having to wait for someone else to come save me, man. I would like to be in a situation where I can get busy right now saving myself. You see what I'm saying? Let's say we on an airplane and the pilot fall asleep and the plane going down. I got to wait on the goddamn pilot to wake up because I don't got the knowledge on how my life is in this Savior's hand, but he chilling right now just like Jesus doing while y'all wait on him. You see, these archetypes was never meant for you to wait on them to save you. These archetypes was teaching you a kind of knowledge that's so deep you won't even need a savior. The shit that you saying you need to be saved from, once you activate this knowledge in your life, that shit gonna run away from you like roaches when the light come on. The reason this energy and whatever you saying you need to be saved from is present in your life, this forces of darkness, is because your light ain't shining. What causes your light to shine? An aha moment. Knowledge scares the powers that be away. These people in power ain't most scared of nothing but a nigga that's telling the truth. That's right. I'ma tell y'all, you are a fucking boogeyman to these people in power. What the hell you scared of them for? You like a goddamn rising sun to vampires when you talking this kind of talk. Why you think they censoring this stuff, man? So when you realize what you are, and only thing gonna make you realize it is gnosis. When you activate this awakening, this enlightenment moment, this knowledge inside of you, all of the forces that you praying in your life for some savior to come save you from, you gonna be like, where did they go? Oh, nigga, you activated that knot. When the lights come on, them roaches run, man. When you turn the light on upstairs, and you get online and with the frequency of your ancestors who was enlightened, bro, you gotta go look at your aura through magnetic goggles. You glowing bright, the brightest man in the room. Why you think they said when you got knowledge, you're bright? You're a bright one. If you can look at people with gnosis through electromagnetic glasses, they got the brightest auras in the building. And you would notice that if you can put on these electromagnetic glasses and see people's aura, that the people who shining the brightest get picked on the most. If y'all can look at the world from the electromagnetic energy spectrum and see the auric energy that's coming from every being, you will see that the beings with the darkest, dimmest lights are living in all the mansions, driving the fancy cars, got the biggest bank accounts, and if you can see their aura, it's damn as hell. Then you'll go over to a third world country and see a baby suffering, but its light will be bright. This is a paradox, y'all. All of the people that's suffering in this world, they're ruling in the base reality. All of the people that's ruling in this world, they're dead. They're peasants in the base reality. All of the rich men on earth, this is their kingdom. They have no wealth outside of this place. But the many oppressed people that you see around the world, innocent. When they said the good die young, why come the good die? Why the evil people don't die young? Who the hell is in charge, God or the devil? Because if God is in charge, ain't no excuse for the good dying young. What the hell you doing, God? You see what I'm saying? What kind of God rules over a world where the good die young and the righteous people are oppressed? That God would be the false God, the Demiurge, not the Most High. The Most High gonna make sure that the good people are winning and that the bad people get what they belong. Any God doing anything else, you better not follow him. That's the false God. That's the deceiver. You better judge him by his actions. He keep making the evil people rich, and he's giving these little bitty babies diseases. He's killing these innocent. You got people going to church every day praying to this God, and they suffering. And the people that don't even pray to this God, he give them all kind of money because they understand the bullshit that's going on. They're in on the secret. They telling you if you keep praying, you can get to where Young Thug at. If you keep praying and tithing, maybe your bank account can look like, goddamn it, Soldier Boys. Yeah, it's time to wake up and understand that we're not in earth right now. You're in hell. That's why things don't work out for the good for good people here. This is an evil world ran by an evil force. Anybody wealthy and successful in this world have done something to jeopardize the true light of their soul. And I ain't even hating. If you got a Bible and you look up to the archetype called Jesus, Jesus said what I'm saying. And Jesus didn't die a wealthy man. I'm not saying nothing new. This is old knowledge of making yourself light and detaching from this simulation. So what the Boule would try to do is always get y'all to focus on wealth, luxury, gold, and diamonds, which is why they always lean you back to Egypt. And we were kings. We was in Egypt balling out so that you can strive to get back to balling out. We were never doing that in Egypt. That wasn't our people. The Egyptians were evil, egotistical pricks who let their poor starve. They let their children suffer. The same kind of world we in today. You can only justify this capitalistic system by pointing us back to what they did in Egypt. And they got the whole world glorifying Egypt when Egypt represents the fall of man, which is why the Bible told you to come out of her. Egypt is ego. This system of government that we're in, it is a system of government that's built off of the male's ego and patriarchs. Patriarchs that stole the position of the goddesses, and now they got archetypes telling men you can be born through men. They hid the knowledge that was inside of the goddesses. They gotta play dumb to the spiritual truth. And the only thing they got is pretty suits and articulate voices, but they have no inner light and understanding of divine ancient concepts. They are imposters. So the Demiurge, or what we're calling Leontocephaline, was a gatekeeper. Guess what? Jesus is a damn gatekeeper. No, Jesus ain't Sanchez. Guess what? I'm going to tell you the type of shit that gatekeepers say. A gatekeeper will tell a nigga some shit like, hey, man, if you want to get through the Father, you got to go through me. Tell me that ain't a damn gatekeeper. Tell me Jesus ain't a gatekeeper. That's like me and you in the dope game. You asking me for the plug, and I'm telling you, no, nigga, I'm gatekeeping the plug. If you want to holler at the plug, you got to go through me, nigga. I'm a middleman, your ass. You ain't getting no direct connection to the source. You got to go through me. Why? Because I'm a gatekeeper. I'm a middleman. You want to get to the Father, nigga? You got to go through me. Bro, that is a gatekeeper talking. That's the Demiurge talking. Guess what the true creator taught? That you can go directly to the source. You ain't got to go through me. You don't need me. It's in you. Yeah, Jesus told niggas, you ain't going to go to the Father unless you go through me. And y'all still think that's the true God. This is an archetype that was trying to teach man, in order for you to get to your true self, you got to be born through your fake self. Are we checking? Jesus wasn't a real person middlemaning niggas. That was a joke. And I hope I gave you a good laugh. The point that I was trying to make about the gatekeeping, your body is a gatekeeper to your soul. And this is what these archetypes is showing us, that the Kundalini must rise out of the body. The Kundalini got to pass up the spinal column to get to pineal, where God met Jacob at. So you can't get to the Father without going through Jacob's ladder or passing through the spinal column. And that's what Jesus is personifying, the Kundalini. That's what this archetype is personifying. Your consciousness passing through your ego body, which is the flesh. And you can't get to the Most High God without being born again through Christ, which is the lower God, the lower body. Christ was never a savior. Christ was an archetype and a symbol to teach you about being born again through your lower versions. Okay? So no one can get to heaven without climbing from hell or being born again through their lower versions of themselves, mastering those. This is a classroom, and your body is the class. It is a lower version of yourself that your soul don't like. And until you conform your body to the will of God, which is your soul, and tame your monster, your avatar here, you didn't pass the class. You didn't beat up Satan, so now you got to come back. This was what resisting temptation was all about. It was about having the ability to make decisions based upon what my soul want to do versus what my body want to do. Some of y'all will not accomplish what you want to accomplish, not because, again, there's an evil force picking on us, which I just mentioned, because guess what? Even though that's true, Sanchez still accomplished his mission in life. Everybody ain't got to be a doggone billionaire to be successful and accomplished. That's how they got y'all thinking. You see what I'm saying? If you're proud of your actions, you are accomplished. Who cares if the next man ain't proud? You happy with where you at and what you've done thus far? Cool. You're manifesting your will. That's something to be proud of. Check this out, right? Some people think they're manifesting their will, but they're just bound to the desires of their body. They wake up every day doing what their body want to be done, whether it's sex, chasing money, being entertained. Guess what the ancestors was trying to teach about overcoming Satan's temptation was saying a proper soul is able to make actions solely based upon pure thought and pure soul. We don't make actions like that today. We make actions that's often tainted by the desires of our body through lust, and all of that taint a lot of our actions, right? Some people may choose a career field that they don't even like, but they know it make a lot of money, and they have these fantasies of balling out and doing things in the flesh, right? And they'll never find happiness, which is why rich people kill themselves. They are bound to what their body want them to do. You will not find satisfaction being a slave to your flesh. The satisfaction is when we start making decisions based upon pure mind, power, and soul, separate from the will of the body. If you can make decisions like that, then you will be making like high God-like decisions that's coming directly from the higher self. But when the higher self want to manifest something, it got to do it through the body. And by the time the message gets sent through the body, it's distorted, because the body start changing the message to say, but I gotta eat though, I gotta feed my family. Hold up, what that girl gonna say about me? What my homies gonna say about me? When the soul gives the body a mission, the body very seldom carry the mission out to success. Because The body end up getting sidetracked for what it wants to do along the process. And this was what the ancestors was trying to master. They were trying to have pure thoughts because the thoughts are the source of our actions. With pure thoughts, you can make pure choices or manifest pure actions. Or what they said, live with less regrets. The regrets come from you doing something that your body wanted you to do and your soul saying that was stupid. But at the time, you didn't think it was stupid because your body was screaming so loud that this had to be done. And the body is it's hardly ever right, which is why the body must be accompanied with the soul. What would the body do without the soul? Eat, sleep, shit, fuck, laugh, and be entertained. That's it. You see how earthly and secular the body is when you just take the soul out of it? Now, when you put the soul in the body now loves, hates, it feels, it questions, it thinks. But a body without a soul is like a robot that's just shitting, pooping, farting, and just doing what the natural biological processes. And what would be the need for a body without the soul? You see, this will let you see the purpose of the soul even being in the body. When you buy your child a car, you gotta teach your child how to drive the car. So your body is your soul's very first car. And when you're teaching a child how to drive, it is confusion. And you're gonna bump into a lot of things. And so your soul is a child learning how to drive this new car called a body. And it's all over the damn road, man. It's a maniac, right? But it's gonna get it together and it'll drive straight. You wanna know why your soul can't get to where it's trying to go? Cause your body it ain't a good driver. Your body is a car. The soul is the driver. The soul ain't gonna go to heaven right away. Cause the soul got to learn how to drive first, man. So when you buy your child a car and you tell them, look, go to the store, they can't. But I bought you a car, but you didn't teach me how to drive it yet. So the soul have a destination. In order for it to get to heaven, it got to drive itself up the mountain in this car called a body. But the reason why the soul is lingering at the bottom of this mountain going in circles is because it figured it'll learn how to drive by going round and round and before it try to go up. Don't that make sense? This is the Hindu explaining reincarnation and the process of self learning and like mastering the self and enlightenment. The earth realm is like the valley at the base of a mountain. The mountain is heaven. People are just driving around this mountain in circles. They call them lifetimes, but they're trying to learn how to drive because no one want to start their journey driving up the mountain and you don't know how to drive. That can cause you your life. You want to practice that on the ground. And that's what the earth is. This ain't our destination. Our destination is the top of the mountain, but we're baby drivers who haven't even began our journey yet because we going around in circles in kindergarten at the bottom of the mountain on the earth realm. And once we get this car right and wrestle this body down here like what Jesus did, then we can climb Mount Calvary like Jesus did. You see what I'm saying? Him defeating Satan is like this child saying, I have tamed my car. Think about it like a horse. Before cars, you buy your son a horse, right? Your son learning how to ride the horse lies in your son taming the horse. The horse gotta respect your son. The horse got to fear its driver. Otherwise, it ain't gonna listen to you. So if you look at horse driving, that'll work a little bit better of like versus the car because like If you got to learn how to ride a horse, the horse really ride itself. You don't got to drive it like a car. It drives you, right? It's carrying you, right? You ain't hit no steering wheel. But your ability to master the horse is for it to listen to you. It's a command for left, a command for right, a command for stop, a command for go. You don't got to train and tame your car. You simply got to learn how to drive it. The horse gonna drive you, but you got to tame it. We used to have to tame horses. Now we got to learn how to drive cars, which is what we traded taming a horse for. You didn't have to learn how to drive a horse. You just learned to tame it. It'll drive you when you tame it. So now that we don't have to tame horses, we just learn how to drive cars, which would be another way of saying you taming a horse. But the whole point of me bringing that up is your body is a vehicle for your soul. And to get up this mountain, you're going to have to take 7 different cars, because you're going to drive one of these bodies to a certain threshold and it ain't going to be able to carry you no further. And you're going to have to cross over your consciousness into your other body and drive it, your other car. And it's going to take you to a certain level of the mountain, and you got to swap cars or bodies again. The Hindu said you're going to go up that mountain, you're going to swap cars 7 times before you get to the top, which is heaven. But like I'm telling you, before you even start climbing the mountain, you just going to go in circles at the bottom first. That's the start of the journey, the earth realm. In other words, you haven't even began your ascent yet. You won't start till you die. This is what you call learning how to drive. And once you learn how to drive, then you will start your ascent up the mountain. But people may reincarnate to this earth realms a couple of times before they even begin their ascension journey. You don't even start the path of ascension without the knowledge of self, aka the knowledge of how to drive the body, the knowledge of how to, what they call, train your dragon. I think that's the name of this little cartoon or animation, Train Your Dragon. This is an old concept, man. This ain't nothing new. People been saying, in order for your body to get you to where you supposed to go, because it is a vehicle for your soul, you got to tame it just like a horseman. That horse ain't going to take you nowhere but in circles until you tame it. And when that horse start to respect you, you can tell it where you want to go. It'll take you there. You tame it. Your body will not function properly for you to manifest your best reality until your body start respecting you enough to say, I can't get that nigga to cheat on his wife. I already know he ain't gonna do it. See, the more you give in to your body, the more that your body work against your true purpose. You're training your body on what to want and what not to want. So for example, right? If you won't resist temptation and you keep hitting cigarettes, you're going to be craving cigarettes. You're going to be addicted to cigarettes. Your body going to make you want to smoke a cigarette. But if you go against the will of Satan, against your body, if you say, you know what? I don't care what you want, body. You ain't getting it. When I stopped smoking cigarettes, I was depressed. My body was yelling at me saying, please give me a cigarette. But my mind was stronger than the matter, mind over matter. Even though my body was cussing me out saying, man, that's some bullshit. No cigarettes, nigga, for real. The withdrawals, y'all, was crazy. My body was beating my ass. But guess what? My body was being starved out. You reach a point where, guess what? My body don't even want cigarettes no more. In fact, if you smoke a cigarette around me, I'm going to walk out the room. I don't even like the smell of them no more. Why? I train my dragon. My dragon don't tell me what it want. I tell it what it supposed to want and not want. And if you ain't doing that with your body, you ain't even fighting this war of good and evil. See, the desires of your flesh are not yours. They are what society told you to crave and want. I don't know if you over-sexual or what your vices may be, but they're not yours. They are programmed desires. And you cannot accomplish what you want to do until you reprogram your body away from the temptations and desires that our society been programming in us since a child. When these children grow up, the parents gonna look stupid like, why my baby so freaky? Why my daughter out there twerking all like that every day? You don't see how you're subtly programming them since a baby by how this society put that in them, and later that's gonna become demons and dragons that they're gonna have to kill. Just like me, I like to drink. Now, I'm not no alcoholic, but I do like to have me a beer, something to drink every now and then. Guess what? When I was coming up, none of the adults in my life thought that alcohol was a bad thing. Long as you drink responsibly, it's okay. And if you're of age. So if you do become an alcoholic, that would be a result of societal norms that was just came into your life since your upbringing. They're so subtle, you don't even know they're there till you start saying, I want to master myself. Then you be like, oh shit, I gotta remove that, take that off, take that off. You start self-examining. So you realize most of the work you got to do on yourself ain't even shit you did to yourself. It's shit society programmed in you since a baby. And that's what the Matrix is. It's creating a false version of the self. Most people living in this earth, they never manifested their true version, which is why they have to reincarnate. People gotta reincarnate because they live their whole life and they are a false version of themselves based upon what society programmed them to be. They never walked this earth one day being who they truly are at the core of themselves. This is why you see all the monks isolating themselves from all outer worldly influences, because they want to discover who they are inside without any worldly influences distorting, appearing as real as who they are, right? So that's the point of going into solo isolation meditation and withdrawing from the world, as the Bible say. Because the world gonna tell you what to like, what to desire, who you are, what you hate, what you love. The world gonna give you a version of yourself that's not really you. And if you're not careful, you will merge with that version of yourself, that simulation of yourself, and you will keep that sim running. You will live out this version of you that the world created for you. And most of us, and that version of you that the world created for you, that's called the ego, which is why the Bible say come out of Egypt. Let me give a shout out to Bugatti. He said, beer on me, cook it up, bro. Appreciate you for appreciating my work, Bugatti. I really do. And I want to give a shout out to Josh Waring and to Supremo. Shout out to Hydrogen and to Supremo for those super chats as well. Supremo said the Romans thought Jesus was a joke, no marker. Hey guys, if you want to support my work, if you like what I do, then you can also send in a super chat and have it read and sponsor today's program. We appreciate you guys in advance. We can't do it without you, because the AdSense for people who tell the truth is very low, right? So I do still depend on you guys' contributions, and I would like to thank you for them. So yeah, just I'm giving y'all the knowledge of the archetype that we call the Sphinx. I'm giving you the riddle of the Sphinx. The mystery of the Sphinx is your story. Mystery is my story. They turned my story into mystery, mystery, You hear me? There was no such thing as a mystery in the age of truth. Nothing was hidden behind a mystery, but everything was understood as a story of minds. And if I decoded the story, I would have the message. We taught beautiful knowledge in parable form, like the Sphinx does in a riddle, right? So there was never a mystery. It was just my story. Before they turned my story into a mystery, it wasn't a mystery, it was my story. And all of these stories, these mysterious mythologies and stories that are told around the world, these were not meant to be taken literal. When you take them literal, they become a mystery. Why? Because people want to know the mystery of how Jesus did what he did. How did Jesus go up to heaven? How did the Sphinx grow wings and fly to the sky? It becomes this mystery now because you don't know it's my story. Because when you ask, how did it happen? You say, when I die, it's going to happen. My soul is going to rise up Jacob's ladder and meet God at Pine Hill when I die. And buddy, that make me feel good because I'm not scared of no death. I know what's going to happen. And no one feared it because they would have been taught about this when they was born on this earth during the age of truth. Death wouldn't have been a mystery, a religious system. It would have just been a story that they told, a parable that tell you about how the soul got in the body and how the soul gonna lead the body. And that story would have gave you an awakening about what and who you are. It would have activated it via a parable or a riddle. But once the people in power get us to take the riddle literally, once they get us to take the parable literal, it becomes mysticism and confusion. All right, so that's my lesson for y'all today. You can share this. Let me make sure I don't have anything else. Remember that these deities we're syncing today are all gatekeepers, right? You can't go to the Father unless you go through Christ, which he's a gatekeeper. That's the Demiurge. The Demiurge is in between man and heaven. And he's telling man, you can't go to heaven till you come through me first. And he ain't lying either. Ain't none of us gonna get to heaven without going through the Demiurge's simulation. But the question is, why are we worshiping the damn Demiurge? That's the question. Why are you worshiping the Demiurge when it's just a lower, lesser God over a lower realm? And this God ain't even outside. It's your ego. That's what the Demiurge is. So I can give you some most synchronicities between the Demiurge, the Lion of Judah, Leontocephaline, the Medici Lions, the Sphinx. Right? The Leontocephaline is often entwined with a serpent. And that serpent represents time, eternity, and cycles. It's another god called Saturn with a bunch of rings around him. And the rings represent time, eternity, and cycles. You see how it's the same God. The Demiurge is the controller of the material cosmos and its temporal laws. Jesus Christ was called the Alpha and Omega and the eternal Lord over time. Why was Jesus the Lord over time? Because time represents the temporal laws, temporary, the material cosmos. In other words, Jesus is another personification of the Demiurge, the controller of time, which is the material world. So the Sphinx is also linked with solar cycles, equinox alignments, and all of these resurrection mysteries of the eternal realms, which is why the Sphinx is just the Lion of Judah. Same archetype. over the same stuff. The Medici Lions that I showed y'all earlier. They were more political forms of this archetype, but they do borrow the lion as an archetype as a perpetual emblem of rulership. The question would be, these ancient Medici lions symbolize authority and rulership. The question is, authority and rulership over what? I'm about to blow your mind with this. Watch this. Watch this. He got the whole world in his hand. He got the whole world in his hand. Jesus is the Demiurge, the earth god, which is why Jesus don't build a heavenly kingdom. Jesus built the earth kingdom called Zion in Revelation. So again, I'm going to go back to the lion right here. You see what he holding in his hand? Again, the Demiurge is the ruler over the earth realm. And all pictures of the Demiurge show him with the universe in his hand or the earth realm in his hand. The Lion of Judah holding on to this little ball, that represents your pineal gland. That's what the earth is. The earth is a little ball of light in your head, because reality is in between your ears, not around you. The world around you is coming from within you. When this light from within you shines around you, it veils you in the simulation. This world around you is a hollow spirit, holographic simulation made of light. And the light is coming from you. Everybody, spiritual light from within them is covering them in their own simulation. And this is why they taught in the Bible, you are the light of the world. That ain't no poetry. That ain't just because it sound good. Why did the Bible say you are the light of the world? Because your inner light it shines way beyond you, and it start to blind you with the world around you. The world around you is your own inner light. It's like a candle. A candle can't see the room that it's illuminating because it's blinded by its own aura. A candle is the light of the whole room, but it don't even know it. It don't even know it. If you was a candle, you wouldn't even be able to see the room that you lighten up, because you so bright, you're blinded by your own aura. But this blinding effect by our own light that was activated upon conception, it created the earth realm around us with the light of conception. That light is still being dispensed. And this world is going to stay around you until that light is through emitting itself. When your light is through emitting itself, your earth journey will end and you will die. When your light burn out, just like this candle. And when the candle burn out, it can see what the room looked like for the first time. Because even though the candle allow me to see what the room looked like, the candle can't see what the room looked like, because if from a candle flame's perspective, it cannot see beyond this little bubble that you call an aura around it. So if you were a flame on a candle wick, you would light up the entire room and not even know that you the light. And that's why the Bible said you are the light of the world, but the saints forgot that. The saints are the Israelites, Israel light, not the false light, the real light. Why you think when you say Israelite, which is the children of God, the shining ones, you got real light in there? The false light would be Satan, Lucifer. If there's a false light, there's a real light, and the real lights are God's people or the Israelites. The word saint comes from the word sentient, a sentient being, one with a light inside of them. A person with a soul is a sentient or a saint. So you are like a candle flame in a dark world, and you don't even know what you are, but they know what you are, and they harnessing your energy. Y'all hear me, saints? I'm talking to the saints right now, not the Christians. You see what I'm saying? So if you hear me, understand what you are. You're the light of the world. This whole matrix is created by our inner light, just like Morpheus was trying to tell Neo. It's a holographic simulation made of light. The question is, where did the light come from? The sentient beings. Light just don't pop out of nowhere. They're turning our light into a huge hollow spirit false world. And we're trapped in the illusion of that false world that they're making with our light. You having your light caught up in this matrix is why you're in a body. Once you stop agreeing to create this world with the archons, not only do you leave this world, you leave your current avatar, your body. This is an old video game that we started playing and forgot about. And now we ready to get out of it. But AI don't want us out. It's using us to power the game. When enough of us leave this game, it will collapse. It won't be able to hold its form. Because the more saints leave, the dimmer this world get. It's like a projection of light. And we're the source of light that's creating the entire universe, saints. We're the light source for this simulation. And the more saints leave this place, the darker this world get. And when all the saints leave this place just gonna fade away into darkness. The most saints leave it. The more saints leave this place, it's like they told you, the universe gonna fade to black. Because the universe is the simulation. It's the false world. It's the temporal material world that we just read about. It's temporary. It's not everlasting like our true home. And even the physicists tell you that. The reason this universe can't hold its form is because it's made out of the light of the saints. And the saints ain't gonna stay here forever, which means anything that's gonna not be able to escape this earth will be tossed into darkness, or what the Bible called a lake of fire. This world will be tossed into the lake of fire. Earth and hell will be tossed into the lake of fire. And what they mean is that when all the saints leave this place gonna fade to darkness. It's only life. The only reason a flower is growing on the ground in this earth is because saints are here. If there was only one sentient being in this video game, they'll have a little bit of semblance of vitality. Seeing a flower grow or a baby bird hatch. But the moment that last saint leave this place, all of the vitality in this simulation will be gone. The concept of a flower blooming, a baby being born, that this world will be a realm of death. No signs of life or vitality. It'll be like a toxic wasteland in darkness with no life whatsoever. And I don't know how to imagine that, but imagine a place that lacks any form of vitality or light force energy. That's what this world is slowly becoming the more saints wake up and leave. It's gonna fade into a damn chaotic post-apocalyptic hellhole the more saints leave this place. all the way up until the last saint leave this motherfucker. Will there be any flowers growing? The only reason that the stars shine on this place is because God's chosen people are here. That's right. There is no reason for a flower to grow here when the saints leave, y'all. That's how special we are. The forces of life go where we go because that is the light within us being carried with us. That's why the Statue of Liberty walk around with that torch. What we call vitality, the force of nature, the spark of life that bring things into existence is leaving this earth, y'all. And the only thing that's going to be left here is the forces of death and darkness. Nothing will be able to grow on the ground. And all of the life here will be stuck in a mutated form of sickness, disease, illness, and darkness. No light will shine here from one star. The light, let me tell you something. There won't be one star that shine its light on this earth realm when the last saint leave. Because we are the stars. We are the light of the world. The only reason there is a semblance of heaven in this earth is because we brought it here when we fell, saints. This is what you got to realize, how special we are, what the ancients taught about us as light beings. So when you see the lion holding that little ball in his hand, that ball represents this little ball of light right here inside of your head. That's the earth. That little ball of light is like a movie running out your lifetime. It's all in your head. Even your body. This hard for y'all to grasp, ain't it? But your mind ain't in the earth realm. Your mind is a ball of light hovering above the earth realm, projecting your body down into it as an avatar. When the little ball of light that's projecting your avatar decides it want to leave the world, your little body gonna wither away and fade away like a light that went off. Because your flesh is a flash of light. That's going, like a lightning strike, it's gonna come and go. A human life is so short, it's like a lightning strike. And if you look at the human nervous system, you can see we're just lightning strikes. Your entire existence is a strike of lightning. And once that lightning through striking, you gone. And here is your lightning strike right here. This is your nervous system. All of what you see in blue, you are a lightning strike. And just like all lightning strikes, they don't last forever, man. They come and go. You got to start looking at the nervous system like a lightning strike. And I'm going to show you a lightning strike just to activate this syncretism in you. Every lightning strike has an epicenter that gave birth to it, just like every tree come from a seed. A lightning strike ain't nothing but a tree. Don't it look like a straggly little tree branch? Look at that little tree branch right there. Stop looking at it like a lightning strike. Look at it like a tree branch, like a little plant growing from a seed. Look at here. This ain't no lightning strike. It's a flower. It's an ethereal flower. Like, this is no different than a plant on the ground. Everything is a lightning strike. Everything starts from a seed and grows into this little lightning strike. I'm trying to show you how to see in totality. Everything is just a strike of lightning. And just like a strike of lightning, this plant gonna come and go. And when this plant leave, another plant gonna come. And when that one leave, every time a plant die, one is born. Don't that sound familiar? Go look at lightning strikes. Everything is everything in micro and macro. You look at a little lightning strike, you said that was quick, bro, that's your lifetime. When you think of your life on a macro level, you just a little lightning strike that came from a point of singularity, just like these lightning strikes. Your body is a tree that grew from this little ball up here called the pineal gland. You see? That's the epicenter of your lightning strike. So here is the thing that created your nervous system or your body. Your mind created your body, which is why we say mind over matter. Your body is a projected avatar that is made from the light of the mind. This little ball right here is an epicenter to a lightning strike. And the lightning strike is your nervous system. So you see how these lightning strikes are attached to a little white ball. This is what's happening with your body, people. Your body the same way. Look, all of these veins and all of that, that's plasma, man. That's lightning. Go and look up what plasma is. Plasma is light. We don't live from liquid blood, man. Your blood ain't keeping you alive. You are an electrical robot. You're a fucking robot, an avatar. And they don't want to tell you that, so they saying that that's blood in your veins, when really that's a lightning strike that you call in a vein. Why you think they call it plasma? Your veins is not your blood, that's your plasma. They say, well, Sanchez, your blood is blue when it's in your veins, but when it come out it's red. That's a damn lie. You can see white people when they get mad that they got red blood inside of their face. I'm going to show you something right now, right? I'm going to cut my camera on even though I shouldn't. Because my office is a bit junky. But guess what? Fuck it. I got to just show this though. I'm going to show you something. I'm gonna show you something. Look at my hand. You see how red it is? That's blood. The blood is red, but it's still inside my hand. Science lied to y'all. I just debunked that shit right now. Somebody told you blood is blue. But when you open it up and cut the vein open and let the blood out, it turns red when oxygen hit it. Y'all believe anything. You believe anything, you stupid. When you can see the red blood in your hand. How come this red blood ain't blue? Now guess what? There go my vein right there. It's blue. I'm looking at my vein right now. That's a blue vein. You see it right here. It's blue. Let me come closer. I'm looking at my veins right now, bro. They are blue. But my blood is red. Look at my hand. If this is blood in my hand, what is this blue stuff in my veins? That ain't blood. That's plasma. They lied to you. Blood and plasma different. They ain't the same. They lying to you. This red stuff in my muscle tissues, that's blood. But this blue stuff in my veins, that is pure light. That's light. That's electricity. Guess what? When a person die, they get the defibrillator clear, they put some electricity in them, they give them a jump off. You ever had a dead battery in your car? Don't you go get a jump off? We are electric beings, y'all. Blood ain't keeping you alive. Electricity is. Let me say that again. Your blood ain't keeping you alive. If you lose blood, they can just put some more blood in you from a transfusion, which means that the blood is like the vehicle so that the electricity can flow, because guess what y'all don't know? Electricity got to flow through a medium. Water is the medium. Have you ever dropped a TV in a swimming pool? The water allow the electricity to flow through a medium, which is why we see lightning strikes happening in the sky. Now, guess what else they ain't telling y'all? That there are explosions that happen in the ocean that they don't, is mysterious. See, so only thing I'm saying is they like to say, well, okay, in the ocean, that you got some called rogue waves. You got these explosions that happen in the ocean. Some people may say, well, it's the military, the Navy, and I agree with all that. But another theory I got is that we don't know everything about the ocean. The ocean is just like the sky. Technically, we should have some form of plasma phenomena in the ocean. You should. What if we do, but they're telling us it's something else in nature, such as a flash storm, or not a flash storm, but a rogue wave? Or like, what would cause a bunch of water to be misplaced in a second? An underwater explosion or an emission, some kind of release of energy that the ocean is doing based upon pressure, like what the sky doing when lightning strike. So listen, everybody have their theories about rogue waves. This was something I thought I would let off in the stream just to make y'all think. Can we find plasma phenomena in the ocean for my nerds? And if so, what have they been passed off as? What weather event have we been calling lightning manifesting in the ocean? If the atmosphere and the ocean are one and the same, as above, so below, which they are fundamentally based upon the exact same, the sky above us is just another ocean. The question is, we see that electricity is able to flow through the ocean. Like, these lightning strikes are only possible because the sky is an ocean. It'll be like you dropping a TV in a swimming pool and everyone in the pool gets shocked by a lightning strike because the water allowed the electricity of the TV that dropped into our realm to spread via the water. So there are things that are dropped into our realm, and when they make impact with our layer of the atmosphere, lightning strike. Not a TV, of course, but pressure pockets. There may be a place where there's a huge concentration of buildup of energy and it has to go somewhere, so it implodes or explodes, and this is what we call a lightning strike. So this is happening. So what I wanted to bring up with the lightning strike is how the human body is a lightning strike or an explosion of energy. But anytime energy is dispensed, it will run out. And that's when the energy got to transform itself and perpetuate its motion. And this is what our soul is doing through the body. Our soul ran out of energy when it was a sperm. So by the law of the universe, it had to transform to keep itself moving. And the transformation was the body. So when the soul, which is pure energy, transformed itself from something to another thing, that's done by an explosion of energy. Why, Sanchez? Well, look at a seed. When a seed transforms itself into a tree, it releases the energy by breaking the seed casing. There has to be an explosion for transformation, because whatever I am got to turn into something new. And the way that the universe transition between the two cells is with a big bump, bang, boom, big bang. The same way that a seed turns into a tree by a slow release of energy, a little bang, boom, right? Essentially, every tree is a mushroom cloud because it is an explosion of energy, just like you and me. And another way you can see this without me just throwing words at you, stand by, and I'll show you what I'm talking about with this mushroom cloud concept. Here it is right here. This is what a tree is, y'all. Everything in nature resembles a mushroom cloud, even the human body, because the release of energy is the lightning strike, or this is the release of energy, an explosion. So this is a lightning strike. What happens inside of a mushroom cloud? Lightning is striking inside of the cloud. So your body is like, let's say your brain is a cloud. Your mind is the epicenter of a lightning strike inside of a cloud. Let me show you what I mean. This is what your brain is to your mind. Let's take a minute and look at it so you can grasp the beauty of this shit. Your brain is the cloud, but your mind is the light that's lighting the cloud up. See, this is what you are, man. You're a moving storm, but you don't know it. Your brain, your mind, this right here is no different than you seeing a lightning strike in the clouds. Within this smoke is your entire body existing in its aura field as a lightning strike. Just like nature, you're a weather pattern, sir. Think about what I'm telling you. Your central nervous system is a lightning strike that exists inside of your aura, which is the cloud. You are a weather pattern trying to get itself right. You like the great storm of Saturn, trying to get your weather right. All of the bad shit in your life is a result of you as a storm trying to settle. See, when energy is first released, it's violent or immature. It's childish, tearing everything up, just like a baby. And everything going wrong in your life is karmatically tied to the chaotic release of your own infancy as a baby soul. This will all pass, just like a storm. So your body is like a thunderstorm, which is why it's chaotic. This experience isn't comfortable, just like being in a thunderstorm. But when the storm passes, that's when you're going to see who you really are. You exist right now as a thunderstorm, and this ain't who you are. This is like a Tasmanian devil moving around and spinning around chaotically, can't even see where he going, making this big dust cloud. Your light is being hidden by this cloud called the body. But we can see inside the body is the soul. It's light. You can see that light shining in the darkness, just like lightning striking inside of a cloud. Show me a lightning strike, I'll show you a cloud. Show me a body, I'll show you a soul. Check this out, right? So your central nervous system with your aura around it is no different than a lightning strike with a cloud around it. And you like your own bad weather pattern. All of us are storms waiting to settle. And heaven is when our storms settle. But your storm, you are literally the manifestation of your own storm, if this make any sense. So you are a bad weather pattern that's hoping for a sunny day that you call in heaven. But you got to go through your own storm, which is the body. You got to go through your own lightning strike, your own cloud space. This is the path of ascension that the soul takes through the body. It's like you traveling to California on a road trip and you got caught up in a bad thunderstorm and it took you off track because visibility went down. You feel me? You are a soul that is traveling to heaven, but you got caught up in this little bitty thunderstorm and you turned into a human, which is to say it's just like this, right? Me and you going from New York to Cali, but we get sidetracked because we get caught up in a dirty, nasty thunderstorm. The visibility down, you can barely see. So it's gonna stall us from getting to our destination. That's what we're doing right now in this earth realm. We are soul travelers that got caught up in a storm called the flesh. And we can't see where we going to the storm over, and we can continue our journey headed back to our destination, heaven. So we're gonna get caught in 7 thunderstorms along this trip, and they're gonna stall our trip. But we gonna make it to heaven because the ancestors said each of these storms shall pass. So why do the body got to pass? Because it's a thunderstorm. I'm gonna say that again. Why do your body got to pass away? Why do we use the word pass away for the body? We speak about the body like it's some kind of weather pattern. I just showed you how. This is why we speak of the body like it's a thunderstorm and it got to pass away to get to the good stuff called heaven. It's like we talking about a rainy day, ain't it? You see that? So this is the knowledge that was hidden in the Sphinx and that was embedded in all these archetypes. And I hope y'all enjoyed this. Let me say shout out to Katrina for the donation. She said, love this. Thank you, Bro Sanchez. I really appreciate the people that appreciate me because I'm very passionate about this and y'all do help fuel me to keep doing this because I ain't gonna lie. I can be discouraged sometimes based upon the censorship. I'm a human. I get down, right? When I look at what YouTube doing to the truth, it's discouraging to go this hard. And to know that when I wasn't even putting this much effort into YouTube, they was pushing me. The moment I say I'm finna go to the next level, I'm finna really give the people more of the good stuff, more syncretism, better thumbnails, a better presentation of this stuff. They say, oh, he trying to upgrade, but I'm gonna still stay passionate and keep bringing it my all, regardless of the censorship, even though it's hard to stay encouraged. When everything you do, there's a power keeping you down, and it's not fair. That's another discouraging thing. It ain't fair, and it ain't nothing you can do about it. It's an evil man's world. They don't want the truth out. They gonna attack it, and it ain't fair. And that's something you gotta be strong about, knowing that I'm gonna be treated unfairly for having the truth. That was something Jesus was cool with. So it don't matter if Jesus really existed or not. The story is teaching you a greater knowledge of how you need to be in an evil world. You shouldn't care about getting crucified for doing the right thing. So when we all become Jesus, then we all will stand up to the world powers like Jesus did, and we won't need a savior because we will be embodying the frequency that comes inside of this archetype called Christ versus waiting on a literal figure from waiting on a symbol because you interpreting it literally. We got to activate the Christ within y'all. Otherwise ain't going to be no hope for this place. This world is ours. We are the light beings. We don't know what we are. That's why they in charge. Sanchez, are you saying that the angels in heaven can take over hell? We can do whatever we want to do with the light inside of us. Ain't no limitations to a sentient being other than you limiting yourself out of your own ego and ignorance keeping yourself down into one place. That's the beauty of being a real saint. Can't nothing limit me but me. Ain't nothing outside of me can hold me back. Because if there's something outside of me holding me back, the universe put the forces inside of me to be able to obliterate it. So you can't make no excuse other than saying, what is it I haven't activated in myself? Because we got all the gifts in us to conquer anything we're approached with. So when you know this, you can't blame a saint. You can't blame nothing outside of you. Like a saint can't say, well, the devil held me back. Well, the gifts of the spirit are there for you to conquer all evil. So the true creator of the universe ain't gonna let you blame the devil, because all of the gifts to beat the devil up is in the saints. So what you're gonna be told is, why didn't you use the weapons I gave you? Oh, I didn't know about you was ignorant. Go back and find out about them then, nigga. Oh, you ain't gonna be able to go to the next level not knowing that. They gonna tell you, oh, I didn't know about them weapons. Well, go back and find out. Oh, you mean to tell me I just can't go? Nope. You got to learn about them spiritual. Everyone that leave the earth realm gotta activate their own spiritual weapons and fight their way out this bitch solo. That's your rites of passage. And it's been proven in heaven that it can be done. There are many souls came before you and succeeded. So failure ain't an option. Once they know that you got that light inside of you, it's like me putting a seed in the ground and saying, a tree ain't gonna grow from that. It ain't an option. It's inevitable. And ain't nobody gonna come along and dig that seed out the ground because it's taking it too long to turn into a tree. This is a transformation process that you gotta do. You're a seed in the ground. If you don't want to be in the ground, transform into a tree and you'll grow up out of darkness. Can't nobody come along and save you, you little seed, because if they take you from out of the ground, they just stopped your transformation process. Can't nobody come and cut that cocoon, cut that caterpillar out that cocoon, because you just stopped his transformation process. This some gotta be done by that caterpillar himself. That caterpillar gotta wake up from his own ignorance and sleep and transform into a butterfly and wake up out of his own cocoon and wake up out of his own ignorance. You can't do that for it. You can't do that for it. You can't go make the caterpillar hurry up and be a butterfly. You can't cut the cocoon open and say, hey, come on, butterfly. You just killed it. It got to do that itself. And guess what? Time, it just gonna take time. And it takes some more time than others. You put a seed in the ground, you can't rush it. You can't do nothing. Unfortunately, you gotta sit there and wait. It's gonna become a tree or not. It must be tough for a parent watching a child grow up knowing that's their life and I can't do shit to it. They got to do it. If my son's suffering and he don't transform himself, I gotta watch him go to live a horrible life. If my son got a certain way of thinking that's making him have a toxic life, I can't change his mind for him. I can't cut his brain open and manipulate no meat inside of there. See, the mind, you can't touch it. You can't see it. You can't smell the mind, but it's there. And it's causing a person's body to do everything. But guess what? You can't touch the thing that's making them do that. And the universe wanted to be like that so all of us can master our own self. Can't nobody do this for you, man. And some people think that the universe is so cold for making that rule. Some people don't like that rule. They want to go to school for their children, but you can't do that. Your children got to go to school just like you did and start at preschool and go all the way to 12th grade, and you can't do nothing. You can't go take that class for your son. That's what this earth is. It's a school. Your body is the classroom. I can't take this class for you. I'm too busy studying for my own test that life throwing at me. So once everyone master themselves, no one will look to the next man next to them for a savior, for a help me. Because everything we lacking in life is due to our own shortcomings. And we often try to get the next person to make up for where we failed. That right there, y'all, isn't the way of Christ. So this is Gnosticism. This right here gets you out of waiting on a savior and a Messiah. Because look, I got a lot of problems in my life, right? I don't tell them to nobody. I fight them secretly. I let them burn when no one's around. When I'm at my darkest, deepest points in life and I want to give up, that's when I isolate myself in a corner and go hurt by myself. People may say, damn, Sanchez, why you do yourself like that? You don't call family or nothing. When you going through shit in life, that's when you need to be alone. First of all, you don't need to be burdening nobody else with what the fuck you going through. Second of all, life is going to make you keep going through it until you master it alone. Because think about it, if someone helped you out of that situation and you in it again, you're going to keep seeking help from the next person till you learn how to conquer whatever it is making you default to these kind of situations in life. So what I'm teaching right now is how you can be self-sustaining and stand alone with no matter what the fuck life throw at you. You gonna eat that shit up though. I'm teaching, see, the world teaches you to go get friends, make friends, cry on motherfuckers' shoulders. I ain't teaching you that. I'm teaching you how to hurt. That's what we haven't learned. We always want something to stop the pain. I'm teaching you how to do what Usher said and let it burn, nigga. You gotta learn how to tolerate the pain that come in your life. Quit being a wussy. Let that shit hurt a bit. Have you ever worked out? It start to hurt. That's when they tell you to do even more. You ain't gonna get stronger letting somebody pick you up when you fall. We tell that to little boys. What make you think that ain't true on a spiritual level? Huh? You tell a little bitty boy, don't you pick that boy up, you making him soft. Well, when life throw you an obstacle as a grown man, why you looking for everybody else? See, can you do that shit dolo? Because that's what you telling that little boy. See, can he pick his own self up? But yet y'all will grow up and be mad ain't nobody help pick you up. What do we tell the little boy that fell off the bike and sit down there and cry because didn't nobody help him up? We tell him, boy, you better grow up and quit acting. Some of y'all is still that little boy. You will sit there on the ground in your situation and cry because everybody walking by you and ain't picking you up. I'm the type of adult that's such a jerk, I will laugh at the little boy when he there. To toughen him up, I say, look at that little nigga. He's such a baby. Boy, get up with your crying ass. I'm gonna mock him, and he gonna think I'm being harsh. I'm making you tough, boy. Nobody owe you nothing. But my big brother just walked. Your big brother ain't got to help you up neither, nigga. But my mama passed by. She the nigga ain't nobody gotta help you up but you. Get mad at yourself for staying there on the damn ground. This is what the military teach you guys. Every soldier, you can't even be a help to your brother till you have this mentality on your own. See, because guess what a soldier gotta know? that my brother really need my help, because in a warfare situation, you can't just be asking for help if you can do it yourself. Not on a battleground, nigga. Every soldier got to be self-sustaining. And if a soldier asks for help, he better really need it. Nigga, we on a battleground. What do you want? I'm fighting. That's how we gotta look at life, y'all. We're on a battleground. And everybody need to be busy fighting the man in front of them. And I can't come help you with the dude you fighting, because I'm fighting somebody. So this is what made our ancestors have a different mindset about life, and about, they didn't have this victim ass help me mentality, y'all. You got to fucking get out of that. This shit, listen, why do you think our people at the bottom of society, but everyone else in the world that's above us, guess what? They don't feel sorry for themselves. They don't look for ways to mope and to feel down and victim-like mentality about themselves. They don't. Look at the Jews. If you look at the people at the top and bottom, it's a mindset, y'all. We feel sorry for ourselves, and we think others should feel sorry for us too. And we'll give them a reason to. And it's always something we went through or something we, and then you realize, hey, everyone in the world suffering for some kind of shit, and it's a hard work. Ain't nobody got it easy. So that's why I teach this to Christians. I teach these kind of knowledge, and I go into all these aspects, because it's one thing to know the syncretism, but the way the mentality of the religious mindset, the way you negotiate life, is a big, big problem on you not living the best potential to what you can really live. So this is deeper than just me trying to give y'all some deep ass knowledge to impress people. I'm trying to change the way you negotiate day-to-day reality and make you more conscious of your actions, make you more living more with intent than versus sort of just going on autopilot, because that's the default system. Most of us never is born out of the default system, which is autopilot, a reactionary person that reacts to propaganda every day. Most folks don't know what it's like to be outside of that way of living. They don't know what it's like to live or to manifest with intent. They've been reacting since the moment they was born. They think reaction is action. They have no idea that there's a whole nother way of living and a way of just perceiving and thinking about reality that will transform the way you move. And it starts with the mind, not the body. And I'm gonna give y'all a shout out for the support, man. Appreciate everyone who's donated free energy. I see you. Thank you for the super chat. If you want to donate via Cash App, it's $BROSANCHEZTV. People, we really appreciate y'all donations, no matter how small they are. Again, we cannot do these programs consistently and for a long time without the support of the people. We're like PBS. Our content is made possible for viewers like you, because of viewers like you. We are not sponsored by any corporations. Yes, we are monetized with YouTube, but as you know, AdSense to truthers and flat earth channels is so limited, you might as well not be monetized. But the reason you want to be monetized, if you ever have a video that go viral and get like 1 million views or even a couple 100,000 views, that's when you're going to see more money. Now that's like hitting a little jackpot. They don't come often, but when they do come, you be glad that you was monetized. I have videos that had millions of views back in the day and I wasn't even monetized. I still be spending some of that money now. Oh shit. But yeah, I just want to thank y'all once again. I was just sticking around to see was there any more super chats or donations that I had to read. And I think that's all of them. I'll see y'all tomorrow. We'll be doing a show about Donald Trump and America. We got to address the elephant in the room. Is Trump making America great or not? Because you got a lot of people saying he's doing good, and a lot of people don't fuck with him no more, like Candace Owens. They saying he tripping. Trump is a big mystery right now. I don't know exactly where we stand on him as Americans. It's very weird with Trump right now because it's clear to see that he's literally doing the work of the enemy. He's against the people, and he's for the rich, and he's against us. But a lot of folks, they said, well, yo, we don't rock with him no more, but he's still got a huge support system. And I want to know, is he really making America great again, or is he destroying it and turning it to a police state, a military state? What's your definition of America being great? More police, more surveillance cameras? Because that's what Trump doing. Let me give a shout out to Dantana. He said, my dude, I love your content because you're a genuine person. I can rock with you in real life. That's facts, Dantana. Guess what, man? We gonna hook up, man. I'm gonna do some future meetups in the future. I said I wasn't gonna do meetups, but you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I was wrong about that, and I ain't gonna lie. That was me being a fucking coward. See, Sanchez don't have no problem calling myself out and telling the truth about myself. I told myself for years I don't want to meet up with none of y'all. But think about what I'm saying. I'm saying that I don't even want to get to know my fans in person. People who really support and rock with me, love me, would love to meet me. I'm telling them I'm not even going to give them that opportunity because of some hater, because of some would-be threat. And to me, that was me making the decision of a coward. And now I see that it was a coward decision. And I'm telling myself, look, I can meet where I want to meet. And if somebody want to meet up with me, and for example, moving forward, I am going to rent venues and promote it. And we're going to have live events and see what I can do as far as on the road, galvanizing my people and put this thing on the road, you know. That's one reason why we're not growing, because most flat earthers, we're just in the social media places, because we don't look at our information as some sort of boots on the ground revolution. We look at it like a slideshow against Neil deGrasse Tyson where I'm debunking gravity. But I am starting to look at this as more than just some nerdy group of people who are, and trust me, most of our job is gonna be done on social media. It's just the nature of our work, which is teaching. We use slides. We use a lot of technology to argue intellectual scientific points. But make no mistake about it, we still have a purpose outside of social media too. And I'm starting to see that if it's just simply having meetups to make yourself available for the people that's supporting you. Because what I'm finding is people tend to support more and movements grow more when the people in those movements make themselves available physically, when they're really in the real world. Like when someone say, yeah, man, I met Sanchez. I shook his hand at a meetup. He signed a book for me. This is why celebrities meet with their fans. This is why authors go to book signings at the library. It's something different when a person know that this person is in the real world. They do come and interact with their fans, their subs, And yes, you can go and meet Sanchez and shake his hand. He's a human, yeah. He ain't just some AI online, a digital copy, right? You know? So it's like people, when they know that, it just gives you this other level of like human authenticity, you know, not in a gang member way where I'm outside, not in no ratchet way like that, but just I'm a person, I'm a human, and I'm approachable, right? So you know, you can tend to make an excuse like, well, I'm trying to protect myself, but I think that's bouginess, and I think it's kind of ego, because you got celebrities meeting up with their fans, and they got way more crazier fans than a dude saying the earth flat. So if Donald Trump can meet up with his fans, and he got the most weirdest, most fanatics on earth, and he got so many people that hate him and want him dead, but Trump still go to these little public gatherings. People love Trump because that says a lot that he would be in a public with his status. So I kind of get it. Like, people respect people in public. Now, I don't really fully grasp all of the psychology as to why, but I just gave you the basics of it. Just simply, it means to them you're approachable. And a person that's approachable, psychologically, it tells humans you're more humble. You have a spirit of humility. Why? I see him outside like everyone. I shook his hand. You liable to bump into him at the gas station. For some reason, that tells humans he's like me. He's one of us. He's down to earth. It might not necessarily be true, because we know Trump ain't one of us, but everyone just loves him to death like he's the next door neighbor, and it's because he's in everybody's city. He at your damn event. He probably at your boys and girls club. He's over here, over there. People feel like Trump is their neighbor because he's showing up in their city. They can talk to him, ask him a question. It's such a psychological W that we're gonna have to start doing it too, flat earthers. It's literally human psychology that we are losing. A lot of people feel like, you know, you're not even a human. But this is something I've been wanting to vent to y'all about as far as meetups. How important are they to you? The benefits of them. And this is kind of me speaking out loud right now with some of the thoughts I've been having as far as the future of meetups and Bro Sanchez. So get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. You know, safety is first, but I don't think I want to use safety as an excuse to deny people to, you know, meet me in person. You know, some of y'all are good people, man. I would love to rock with y'all. And it'll just be tragedy for us not to have meetups for simply me being scared that something's going to happen to me. Because, look, somebody can come do something to me right now. Somebody wants you that bad, they ain't got to wait for your meetup. Damn near, they can pay some money and get your address from a third-party person online nowadays. So that's what I've been meaning to tell y'all, that I am going to start having meetups in the future. Give me some time. I didn't mean to tell y'all on this stream, but it just came out, so now I'm talking your ear off about it. But salutes to the chat. Let me see if there's any more super chats. We do got another super chat from Lil Ralph React. Thank you, Lil Ralph, for the super chat, man. Appreciate you. It's going to fuel the passion for me to keep on giving you this good content. Peace and much love, y'all. I'm going to get on up out of here, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.